Today, we'll be talking about day-old chicks and how you introduce them into the brooding box. This is what we call the brooding box, and these are the day-old chicks. Today we have the Fidan day-old chicks, which is from the Fidan company. This is Abueka plus broiler strain. They grow very fast. When you have your day-old chicks like this, in this box you have 50 birds. The first sign you notice about your bird should wriggle out like this. You can see this trying to wriggle out. That shows that they are active. You can see it's trying to wriggle out of my arms. So this shows that these birds are very active. But if you have a very docile bird that they are not trying to wriggle out like this, then you have a problem. Another thing to watch out for is to look for the navel of the birds. You can see the navel of the birds in these ones. They should be very dry. So it's even difficult to see the navel here. So this is a function of the hatchery. If the navel of the birds are dried like this one, you can see it's very dry. It shows that we have very excellent birds. Starting your day-old chicks with excellent birds is the number one key to success. So you can see the birds are very active, and then we'll be introducing them into the brooding box. It's important you count your birds as you introduce them. So we count them in twos. You can see the brooding box, we have a mesh at the top, and then we cover with the newspaper. The newspaper is important so that you can prevent them having direct contact with the mesh, and also it helps them with feed, because we are going to sprinkle feed on the paper to enable them have access to feed as early as possible. Remember, if you are going to attain success with brooding chicken, they must be able to access feed and water effortlessly. They mustn't travel too much to access feed. They mustn't struggle to access water at the same time. So you must create a balance of these two, providing feed and water. But in this case, we first provide water before we provide feed. The watering will take about 30 minutes. There's reason for that, because we want them to digest their gut. Because these birds have been like this for like 3 days now, and no feed, no water. And the reason is that they have this feed in their yolk. They have a yolk sac in which they feed from. So this feed can sustain them for 3-4 days. It is easier to transport the old chicks than to transport birds that are already grown up, because they will need feed and water. But for this, they don't need feed and water for like 4 days. So we've introducing them for the first time into the breeding pen. You can come and assist me. So we need to count them. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So we have 50 of them already introduced. So the second one, we also do the same. So we count them. So you can help me be introducing them while I explain some certain things. Now, the purpose for this brooding box is to enable you conserve heat, sudden change in temperature, sudden change in airflow. To be able to achieve excellent success, we need to control the sudden change of temperature in this brooding box. And so that's why we constructed this brooding box the way it is. So that once there's draft, a sudden change in wind and breeze, it will not affect their temperature as such, because at this stage, they are still unable to control their temperature in a way that they can really function very well. So we're going to introduce water for them. Like I said earlier on, water is very crucial for their development. And we have organic supplements. In this system, no vaccination, apart from the Marex from the artery, no synthetic drugs, no wahala. We have organic supplements. We have the lab, the lactic acid bacteria. We have the Tagiri, which contains a blend of about 10 herbs. These herbs serves as antibiotics. And also we have the immune booster, as the name implies, to boost their immunity. Now, this lab will be added in water for them. And so we have a drinker like this, and we have the lab. The lactic acid is produced from rice fermentation. We have a course on that. You can take a look at our course on this. So we have 3 liters of this. We are going to add 2 cupfuls of this, which is about 10 mils. Each one of this cup is 5 mils. So we're going to add 2 of this. And also, we are going to add the Tagiri. The Tagiri is a blend of several herbs. We have neem, we have turmeric, we have several herbs that are being mixed. You can check also on our course on how this was produced. So this will give you a vivid understanding on how you can produce this on your own. It also contains cayenne pepper that activates most of the herbs that it contains. Then we also have the immune booster. The immune booster, as the name implies, to boost the immunity of the birds and also enhance the ability to withstand diseases. So, and we want our birds to be able to withstand diseases for the first time because they are very vulnerable. And so, to help them, we are going to introduce the immune booster into it. The immune booster is made up of cayenne pepper as well. And we have the neem, we have the turmeric, we have the ginger and garlic. This is the neem extract. If you are doing it yourself, you can check our course. We have a comprehensive video on that specific processes on how the immune booster was produced, and also how using the neem, using the cayenne pepper, and also molasses to preserve. So we use molasses to preserve all these after producing them. So we have this done already on 3 liters of water, and so we're going to supply the water to the birds for the very first time. It is crucial that this happens as soon as we have the birds. And then light is crucial. You can see that the drinkers are made up of red colors, and this is important because these birds are very color sensitive. They are attracted to the color red. So with the color red, you can be sure that we are getting them attracted to the drinker. You can see their feeder is also in the color red. So it's very important the color is maintained in this nature. You can see some of them are already having access to the water, while others are still figuring out what is happening. This is their first time in contacting water for the first time in their life. So this process needs to be smooth enough. So we are providing that with this. You can see the drinkers and them going around it to have a taste of what it is. You don't need glucose, you don't need anything, because this formulation is perfected for their growth, perfected for their energy, because it contains molasses, it contains special herbs that can boost their energy level. So you don't need glucose as such. So we also introduce this one into the pen as well, the brooding box. These birds will be here for the next 14 days. Their brooding time is 14 days in this pen, and so we expect them to be here for 14 days, trying to grow and develop the way they should. Broilers have the characteristics of doubling their weight every 4 days, so we expect these birds to actually perform very greatly with the supplements and the feed that we're going to introduce for them. So we also put the fourth one. You notice that the water is evenly spread in such a way that they can quickly have access to it wherever direction they turn, and also the feeder. So they will be on this stage for like 30 minutes, and then we now introduce feed to them. So anyone not having access, we try to, let's adjust this tray a bit so that some can have enough access to the water. All right, this is 30 minutes of providing watering the beds for the first time. So we're about to introduce feed to them for the first time. Giving them feed and water, like I said earlier on, it is very crucial, and it must be done successfully for the birds to survive easily. If they don't have access to feed and water, then mortality will increase. So at this stage, we need to sprinkle some of the feed first on the floor of the brooding box, so that they can explore and discover what these feeds look like. So wherever they turn, they should be able to have access to this feed. This is crucial for them to quickly have access to feed. Remember, we've watered them earlier on, so they have access to feed and water simultaneously right about now. And so with this, we are sure that in an hour's time, when we come back to fill their crop, we'll have discovered that they have access to both water and feed. And if that is established for almost 90 or 99% of the stock, then we are good to go. We've started them well on the right path for success, reducing mortality to almost 0% if this is done perfectly. Remember, you have to provide light source where they can see these feeds and also water, so that this process can continue. You cannot risk truncating this whole process. If you truncate this whole process, like when the light is shut out, then these birds, they will need to regroup. And so the ones that are unable to have access to feed or water, they may die off due to the pressure of them converging with lack of energy. So it is very, very important to provide light for them the moment you start this process, so that they can have enough feel of energy and water and everything that is right for them to survive. Without this, we'll be having mortality here and there. So we introduce the feed also to them so that they can discover that there's also feed in that. So we place them in such a way that they can move and also get water. So bring the other one here. We place them in such a way that they can move and also have access to water. So they can eat at both sides, on both sides. This way, like that. So that those ones on that part can have access to feed and water. The one on that part can have access to feed and water as well. With this process, we allow this to go on for like an hour. Then we come back to take a look and fill their crop if they have been able to have access to feed and water. And so with this, we are good to go. This episode, we're talking about the grow out pen, where you grow out those birds we've watched earlier on in the brooding stage. This is the stage where you introduce them. After 14 days, you introduce them into the grow out pen. We will be talking about the most important aspect of livestock production, especially poultry production, specifically poultry production, and which is the feed formulation. We have a special feed formulation that will enable you reduce cost on production significantly by as much as 30% or even more. 10 kg of maize in this special formulation. I'll be mentioning the formulation so you can write it down, and then you can actually use this to make your own feed. Then we have the cassava meal. This cassava peel meal, you can see it, we use 24 kg of the cassava peel meal. Now you can see the cassava peel meal with this coloration. Actually, this is a fortified cassava peel meal. How we fortify this? We use 5 kg of blood meal and 25 kg of cassava peel that is grounded. The cassava peel is grounded and soaked in water for 24 hours, removed, and then soaked in 5 kg of blood meal, the 25 kg of this, soaked with blood meal and also fermented, and then sun dry and grinded into powder for the feed meal. So this way, the cassava meal has been fortified with protein because blood meal has high level of protein in it. It's 10 kg of maize. Normally, it should be around 34 kg of maize. So we've saved a lot on maize already. Then we have the fish meal. So this is the fish meal. There's a problem with local fish meal. The problem with local fish meal is that they are not as rich as the imported fish meal. So to make this much more potent, what we do is that we need to get the local fish meal like this, and then we put on a steam. We steam it. So the way we steam it allows some of the protein nutrient to be readily denatured and also readily available in the formulation. So this makes it even more potent and richer for the birds. So we have the fish meal, which is 4 kg. So we'll be using 4 kg of fish meal. It also breaks down bacteria and also unfavorable microorganisms that will be on the fish meal. So you need to steam the local fish meal. Mark that word. You need to steam it before you use it. You steam, then you dry. So this one will be steamed, and also the nutrient in it made available almost immediately, and then we kill off the microorganisms. You can steam for like 10 minutes and then you sun dry it. So we are using 4 kg of this fish meal. Then the rice meal. So this is the rice meal, which we'll be using 10 kg. Not rice bran, this is rice meal itself. Part of rice that have been broken, discarded, not suitable for bagging, but it can be grinded in this form. So we have this rice meal, is a lot cheaper, also provides some form of energy and also minerals and nutrients for your feed meal. Also makes it also very palatable. So this rice meal, we are going to add 10 kg of this rice meal into it. It also provides energy. Soya beans, let's talk about soya beans. So this soya beans meal is the most important ingredient thereabout in feed formulation. Soya beans meal and maize constitutes almost 70% of all this feed. So we are using 18 kg of soya beans meal in this formulation. Usually the soya beans meal usually are in the same proportion with the energy, the maize. But you know, we've had maize, we've had fortified cassava peel, and we also have rice meal. So we have 3 sources where we are reducing the cost of our production significantly. So with this soya bean meal, we also reduce it using the BSF. So we have BSF also in the formulation. So the BSF will be 6 kg, the black soldier fly larva. We get 18 kg of the soya bean meal. We've talked about the fish meal, which is 4 kg, the rice meal, which is 10 kg, then DCP, which is 1.5 kg, dicalcium phosphate. So this is the dicalcium phosphate, 1.5 kg. We also have limestone, Limestone helps with the grit and all the rest. You can see the coarse there, so allows the birds to grind their food and all those things. So it gives them enough grit, something to use, and also helps with absorption of calcium. Then we have the bone meal. This is the bone meal. This bone meal is grinded. You can see it provides, is an excellent source of calcium for us. So you can see the BSF. You can see in our other course, we expatiate in an elaborate form how you can produce this BSF. This BSF was just brought in from the laboratorium for us to use, to show to you. So with this BSF, you are going to reduce your cost. We are using 6 kg of this BSF in the formulation to reduce the cost. The cost is actually more than 30%, but I'm just putting it at a figure of 30% for you. Just imagine when you reduce feed cost by as much as 30%, the profit is always there for you to pick, because the market will set the profit out for you, and because you are producing at a low cost, you just walk into the market and you pick your profit. So if you have farmers leaving their farm and all that, this is the main reason, the feed cost. So you have the BSF, you have the soybean meal. This is high quality protein source. We have 3 high quality protein source: the fish meal, the soya meal, and also the BSF. Nothing gets better than this. Nothing gets better than this. And also we have the energy, we have the maize, we have the cassava peel meal fortified with blood meal. We also have the rice meal. Come on, your birds have no choice than to perform and deliver the right weight, better than any conventional feed formulation you can ever think of.
Right.
So let's talk about the salt. So we're going to add salt to it. Salt is also very essential. And salt is 0.25 kg, 250 grams in this formulation. And then we have methionine. This is your methionine. It's also source of protein for you, amino acid. So this methionine is 0.25 as well. We also have the lysine. This is lysine, 0.25 as well. It's also part of the formulation. Then we have the toxin binder. We use biochar as toxin binder. Your biochar, we've been taught how to produce biochar in the past, and this biochar provides enough nutrients for the microorganisms that will grow, the beneficiary microorganisms that will grow in your feed. And so we have the biochar here. It's just charred. These are charred sawdust. You can have them in different form. You can have wood that is being charred. We have a process of it. We also have a course on how you can produce your own biochar. Biochar is essential in organic system. So we are introducing the biochar into this to serve as our toxin binder to help reduce the loads of microorganisms that might get into the system, your feed mix. So you can also ferment the whole feed mix. We have the premix. Okay, so this essential micronutrients. So this micronutrient premix is 0.5 kg will be used to mix the whole ingredient. So you can see this is a premix. There's an essential micronutrients, vitamins and minerals, specially formulated for broiler and chicks. So after mixing everything, you mix thoroughly. If you have a feed meal, you can take the formula to them. They mix thoroughly for you, and then your birds begin to grow very fast, even better than commercial feed formulation. This formulation has been tested over time with excellent results. Like I said earlier on, with this feed formulation, the profit is there for you to pick if you are able to perfect all the other areas of production, like the biosecurity, like the management. If everything is perfect, you're going to get your excellent weight bed, and then you reduce your feeding costs by as much as 50%. DIY,
do it yourself.